Hello there, welcome to Holy Moonlight Crusaders. We're going to be playing some Resident Evil 4, talking about things going on in the world, and there's a lot of DLC that's included on the Resident Evil game, so let's check that out. We're going to go into the first one separate ways here. So if you're out there, my name's J. Dylan Proctor, the Nazarene Preacher Man. Got an interesting character here. Game start. I don't know how DLC would have worked. If this would have just been an extra, what would have this been in 2005?
The only reason I've taken on this mission is to get closer to my own objective. No matter what happens, I can't let anyone figure that out. Of course,
definitely a bonus feature
hiding in the
from after the
shadows
game.
isn't my style. I'll have to reveal myself to him and offer advice.
Hey, tradesman
once
Tyler.
in a while.
Oh, look at this technology. Imagine having that. Looks like something you'd see inside a car dashboard now. Pretty sure Mercedes has something pretty similar to that. Ah, yes, the stock footage of smoking some zombies. So while this is going on, let's talk about the importance of the worldview that you find in video games and how you find it. You've kind of got to ask yourself the question, well, what is the problem? What is the antidote to the problem? What is the medium by which the antidote takes place? What are the factors that come into the story? Right now, we don't know a lot about this. We know that this lady has an agenda. We don't know what the crisis is. Which may be unfortunate. Some stuff is kind of poorly written where you just get situation without all of those details in there. Like what we've seen so far has just been situation. And when I say situation, I mean like you've got a girl doing athletic stuff in a nightgown. You've got a guy looking cool.
To arrive at the village on time.
Yes,
wearing sunglasses
but nobody
inside.
remembered to roll out my red carpet.
Villagers there are all being controlled.
You've got the situation, tone, and atmosphere, but you don't have a plot.
Bell. That should quiet them down for a while.
Sounds like they're good, obedient boys and girls.
Unfortunately, time is not a luxury we have.
Yeah.
Gather as much information as you can about the parasite and finish off this little tour.
Okay, so now we've actually got some clues to worldview. We're meant to stop the parasites. And we know that there is a bell or something that quietens them down. So ring the church bell. Okay, cool. Let's start. Real baddies wear sunglasses when it's unnecessary. Yes, they do. And even in my young, foolish days, I used to wear sunglasses all the time inside. It's just what we did when I was in high school. Just got to Springfield out here. So our problem is people with parasites taking a more intelligent approach rather than just blowing them up. We're going to try to ring a bell to calm them down. Oh yeah. And I guess her name is Ada. I did not know that. I've seen her in the game. She's got some monies. Would have been nice if we could have carried on some of our stuff from the main game. But, you know what? This is a bonus feature. They didn't have to give us any bonus features. They did give us a full game. I don't think people were really expecting to be connected to the internet in 2005 and have all that bonus stuff, so we'll take what we get. Alright, so filling in our worldview stuff. Who are our villains? Well, our villains are a mob of people contaminated by a parasite. Which again has been a big theme without this game. Something coming to take possession of people, take away their individuality, make them, well, they just want to kill anything that's out there. You know, they're not happy just dealing with you. They've got to destroy you. They want you to become one of them. Or die. Is that supposed to be a plate, or is that like a bedpan? I always love it when we go to Cracker Barrel and they've got like bedpans hanging above you. So I spent some time at a consignment shop, Dungeons and Dragons shop, game shop, and antique store. Like, there's a place down the street from me that's really cool, got a lot of stuff, called the Front Porch. Great people there, wonderful place to be. And one of the guys there was thinking about buying about 200,000 VHS tapes, which is a lot of VHS tapes. And somebody was really kind of wondering, you know, does anybody even want VHS tapes? Should you buy 200,000 VHS tapes? Even if they're like 6 cents a piece? You know, it's a realistic question. And at first I would say no, you don't need any VHS tapes. But then you go to Cracker Barrel and realize that there are generations of people who want to have chamber pots and bedpans hanging above them while they eat. And you know, if one generation is nostalgic for a chamber pot and bedpan, I guess there can be people nostalgic for a VHS tape. That liking VHS tapes makes more sense than having bedpans above you while you eat. So there's that. Another thing built into this worldview is simply, you know, physical force. When people are whipped up into a mob, when they're whipped up into something which taken possession of them, they may not respect something polite. They may only respect force. They may only respect power. They're kind of like the coronavirus. You know, they won't respect you if you want to go in and eat dinner with your family. But they'll respect you if you want to burn someplace down. They won't get you sick. Okay. We need to use some health. Oh, we don't have any health. But we do have shotgun. Alright, Ada. Hope you got some firm stance. Been putting a lot of stats in your Dark Souls poise. Because we just got smoked. Same could be said for the peasants still playing the PS4. Yes, everybody's been worked up about the PS5. If you're out there listening to this and you know something about the PS5, is it been officially confirmed to be that crazy looking white box that everybody's ripped up about? Is that really what the PS5 is going to look like? Because I was also told earlier this year that it would look like a V. Like an ugly thing that would be one of those old, ugly air purifier things that used to be in your grandmother's house. That you wondered why it existed and somebody spent money on it. Unless they were expecting like dust bowls to come. Which I guess the coronavirus dust bowls are upon us. We have to wipe our eyes clear after walking through the corona-infected bowls of dust. Pretty sure that's what they really... Can you buy it? Has it already been released? Is the PS5 out? Did I like miss some major events in the world? Alright. We gotta get this very fashionable shotgun out. So don't show it to the ATF. I can only imagine what the ATF would think about this. Ada's gonna get a no-knock warrant waiting for her when she gets home. Okay, so they announced the PS5 today. Okay. So this is an official, real deal. The PS5 is here. Cool. You know what? I just realized, looking over here at the camera, it doesn't look very bright. Let me adjust that for y'all. It doesn't look super dark. I'm going to configure the video just a little bit. That may make it a little easier to see. It's actually kind of foggy looking actually on my television. So it looks a little crisper, darker, but that's not how the game actually looks in real life. In real life, it's not super crisp, which is okay. I'm not somebody who's one of those strict. It's got to be 8 billion frames per second, but I can enjoy the fantasy of a game. A good game goes further than good graphics are, in my opinion. Good gameplay, and I like a good story. You can visually tell me the story. You don't got to give me a bunch of cutscenes. Just give me a, tell me the worldview, which Resident Evil often does. There's Leon.
¡Bloqueale el paso!
It's rotten. It looks like. Alright, we got some people coming in here. So I guess there's a little hidden item up there, which is cool. Don't know how we'll get it. I guess we'll shoot it and it'll fall down, but it looks like it's on top of it. That doesn't make sense. That's not how gravity works. Or how perspective works, I guess you should say. I don't know about y'all, but I generally can't go outside and see something on top of a roof. Did that say fan kick? Alright, yeah, we're rolling. And I know video games thinks this is fashionable. And sure, she looks attractive in this dress. But part of me, maybe this is like the compulsive version of me, says, this would not be your best plan. Oh gosh. Man, they're getting smoked. They're wanting to come up here and grab her up like she's a Pall Mall. Oh man. And they would, oh gosh. They would no-knock you for that, but the shotgun in the autonomous zone would be safe. Yes, that's true. Yes, if you were in Seattle, you could have it. Or Portland, wherever. But it would not be acceptable if you bought it while it was legal and then they decided to change the rules on you. That would not be acceptable. Let's combine and use. There we go. That's right. And there are a lot of people in here. I'm kind of curious if you can even kill them all. It may be one of those endlessly replenishing mobs. Let's pull up our map and see. Do we have a point of interest in here? We do. We have to go through that, but it appears to be locked. So I'm going to imagine that chicken, wherever it was sitting, had access to the key. I think I hear the chainsaw people down there spooling up. They've got their Spoolie Boy chainsaw. Which, speaking of Spoolie Boy chainsaws, the reason why I'm late with the live stream tonight, I went and test drove some cars. I had went and looked at a 2014 Mustang GT, and then I went and looked at a 2007 Mini Cooper S. And Oddly enough, the guy that was selling the Mini, he had a really sweet California Special Mustang. It was either a 2013, 2014 model with the 5.0 Coyote. The dude had a big old supercharger on there. And of course, the Mini I was driving had a supercharger on it too. And listening to superchargers spool up and whistle at you is always a great delight. The Spoolie Boy, which I guess we need a better whistle boy or something to refer to the superchargers. I guess the turbos are the more spoolie boys, but Tradesman Tyler, you're out there. Give me a clever colloquial term for superchargers. I know you do better job at that than I do. I can talk to you about the Nicolations or what was going on in the Gaelic pogrom, but I don't do pop culture very well. Whiner. Man, we gotta see, that sounds like a beta thing. We need something more masculine, something more aspirational. You know, we've got forced aspiration, forced induction. We need a more aspirational name. Want some cheese with all that wine? Which at current I do have a Mini, but it's not an S model. It's a Mini Clubman with a 6-speed manual, and I also have a Z4, the first generation of the BMW Z4, both with a 6-speed manual. And the two cars that I drove have a 6-speed manual. If anybody want to talk about what Minis to buy and what Minis not to buy, the answer is make sure you get one with a Getrag transmission and not the Rover transmission or anything CVT like the automatics. I'm not a big automatic fan. Hookshot? What is this? The Legend of Ada? Taste of the Horde Zombies? Breath of the Zombie Horde. You know, with all that climbing, they didn't even need to put the hook shot in Breath of the Wild. Whiny of Emily Rose. The whining of Emily Rose. I like that. Yeah, there's a nice exorcism reference there. Which, I know I tell people to... one of the last places you can find a good biblical worldview is in horror movies. It's not all horror movies. The Conjuring 2, Annabelle... Origins, the Nun, they actually do share a biblical worldview in other dark subject matters. The Exorcism of Emily Rose is a bad movie. Do not watch that. If you have friends that tell you should watch that movie, tell them, you can tell them they are brood of vipers. You know, we'll get out some biblical insults. Gird up your loins like a man and find a better movie. Bad movie. What happens if we get this chicken? We'll let the chicken be. The chickens drop eggs. Was there not something out here? Did it just evaporate? Alright. I always love how in like video game logic everybody's like, alright guys, we were going to strip apart this woman. We were going to look like that scene in Shaun of the Dead where we rip the guts out of her, but now we're not. We respect her decision to go this thing. Alright, let's buy some stuff. First aid spray. We want that.
Thank you. Come back anytime.
Now we can we save in here? Oh gosh, a snake, really? Wouldn't that have been terrible if it killed me? You successfully fight off a zombie horde only to be ended by somebody's snake in a box. Like, who keeps crates of snakes around in their house anyway? Evidently, Amenhotep, the salesman, does. Oh, wait. We don't want to do that. Almost made a big boo-boo. Normal Ada. This is like the Ada mode. Looking good, looking good. Another game that caught my eye today was called The Outer Worlds or something. Evidently it's been out on PS4 and Xbox One for a while, but evidently it's been released on Switch. And I got an ad for this today. And normally you hate it when you see ads and stuff. It's rare that ads are actually marketing something that you want. But I saw this ad for Outer Worlds today, and I thought, man, I love to talk the worldview in games and stuff. This one looks superb. You've got even all sorts of art. You've got things like you would find in BioShock where they're trying to implement a worldview. Looked like a great thing to discuss. I mean, Resident Evil games are great to discuss that too. Resident Evil 7 is the best. It's basically a metaphor for the modern day and age, where something is trying to destroy and redefine the nuclear family. It wants to take possession of existing nuclear families, and by that you've got, you've got Adam and Eve and their sons Cain and Abel, sons and daughters of Eve, Adam and Eve. I'm starting to cough. The Rona's getting me. I spoke ill a bit earlier. But Resident Evil 7, you get that worldview. Something evil is trying to redefine the nuclear family. It wants to take possession of it. It wants to demand that it is your past, it's your future. It pretends to be a child and a grandma at the same time. It's trying to rewrite your history. It's telling you the version of history that it only wants to let you see. It's trying to tell you what your future is. It's being totally dishonest with you because what it wants really isn't a good thing. And then the antidote to that is to, tell it no. This is not the nicest thing to say, but, when somebody pulls down their pants to evacuate the bowels on you, your choices are you can take it, you can pull down your pants and return the favor, or you can pull their pants up and let them deal with it. And that's basically the antidote in Resident Evil 7. The biblical worldview tells us we don't hate our enemies, but we also don't let our enemies use our resources to advance evil. Jesus is not a hippie. Jesus is not someone who constantly avoids conflict. Now, he doesn't seek out conflict for conflict's sake, but when it comes to the matter of what is true and good, Jesus is very, very clear, very direct with people. And Resident Evil 7, there comes a time where you gotta tell it no. Let it reap what it has sown. You like being the virus? Well, here you go, demon. Here's your virus. And Resident Evil 4, the mob mentality, when the elites, the universities, the cults, which, look, the universities, they have their belief system. They pretend like they're not religious. The most devoutly religious people I know, and I'm a pastor, are people I have seen in the universities who are totally sold out to their belief system. They're not the most devout, I should say, the most devout in our culture in mass, on the macro scale. On the micro scale, there are a lot of really good, faithful people in my churches, but when you look at the rest of our culture, you see a lot of people that have totally bought into the spirit of the age, the belief system, all the different ethics and principles, which aren't really virtuous or principled. They're mostly about power and class warfare, repackaged Marxism. You find this going on in the universities. They're very, very religious about this stuff, even though they wouldn't say they are, but they obviously are. That's basically what you have going on here. You've got this cult, the university elite, ivory tower people. They've injected into the masses, the common people, this terrible ideology, and it turns them into a monster. And the antidote to it is, first, you've got to get that out of your own system. Clean yourself. Give yourself eyes to see. Give yourself aspirations. Give yourself truth. And then you've got to just start, removing the things they have made. And right now, we're still doing more of that. This ivory tower cult, they have infected these poor people very unjustly. This is not how God wants people to live. It's terrible that these people are made into zombies. Now, you can't let them just because it's terrible they've been made into zombies, you can't just let them get away with being zombies. And of course, in real life, people aren't actually made into zombies. But things do take possession of them. You can't give people a pass. But you have to help them. You know, you look at the story of Legion, the multitude of wicked spirits that possesses a guy. You know, you got to cast that into the pigs and into the ocean before you deal with the problem. That's what loving people is. And of course, this game is largely a metaphor for that. I mean, obviously this is not a real scenario, but it is a metaphor for real scenarios. Cool. How did the car shopping go? I really liked that mini I looked at. Actually, I liked it too much. I like to buy, what do we call them on Facebook? The crap boxes. I like to buy stuff with like a blown engine. I like buying cars on like an auction or something like that that have some issues. Oh man, I forgot what this is supposed to look like. Let's go out there and find out. Yes, the Facebook Marketplace garbage. You know, give me the garbage. I went and shopped for some garbage, had a good time. Oh, speaking of Resident Evil, let me share something with y'all really quick. Really cool thing. Is it this? Oh gosh. Can't work OBS in this. Alright, so y'all check out this picture here. This is the expiration code for the downloads for this. And it expires in $27.99, which you've got to wonder about that. Like, who arbitrarily set this for the last day in $27.99 rather than, you know, $2,800? And also, I've already used one of these download codes to redeem one of them, but I'm tempted to give to my descendants the other download code and say, look, we've got to keep this as a family heirloom. If Christ does not return before the year 2800, somebody keep this to December of $27.99 and see if you can somehow activate the code to get Resident Evil 7 or Resident Evil 6. Here we go. Tradesman Tyler, I know you're watching out there. I know you've got two little girls. Would you like to have this passed down? You know, the download code that expires in $27.99. Does that sound like a good family heirloom? And anybody else out there listening, y'all feel to chime in. Ada fighting Olga over here. Actually, we're in Spain, so Esmeralda. There's nothing else back here. Okay, the bar went shut when you took the insignia. So we're gonna need something to go in there. Cool. So they've reworked some of the puzzles in this. That's good. That's giving you a lot of usage of this map. I'll let this slide. This is kind of cool. Now will that blow up over there? Yeah, there we go. All the Facebook garbage. Garbage, garbage, garbage. Well, let's see if we've got anything in our map indicating around here. Nope, we do not. So we're gonna roll down this way and see what's down here, shall we? Got kind of nice, fun drum beat going on here. One of the less good things about this is they fall off. I actually want their resources. Now this was a snake box in the main game. It's a snake box in this too. They're shipping snakes all over the world. No wonder they've got some societal problems around here. Oh yes, a gym. Yeah, we don't have time for messing around with this lady. No, we ain't got time for this mess at all. Yeah, we don't want to have Chop's head clean off going on. Because that lady looks like she's gonna chop some heads off. This lady looks like she would like to, but we can manage her. We can manage a little knife on knife action. Though in real life this would be bad. Like the way people walk this stuff off in games, it's crazy. Crazy, crazy. Some cash money. Not really that useful. Okay, well we don't go this way. Together our exploratory committee. We're going to do a study in Resident Evil. When everyone has been turned crazy by the culture around us, when there's a mob mentality where people cease to be individuals, they all become NPCs that look the same. Like, it's what it does. And this is a metaphor for becoming an NPC. That's what the baddies are. They all look the same. They're not original. They think they're rebelling against the system, but they're like the least original thing ever. It's so sad, and I truly mean it's sad. It does break my heart to see people done this way. It's so terrible. To quote the great Proverbs, which this is a verse that occurs twice in the book of Proverbs, in 14 and 16 chapters. There's a way that seems right to a man, but in the end it is the way of death. Sometimes being turned into a zombie seems right, but in the end it is the way of death. Very sad. Okay, well now that we've got that, I guess I'm going to try to put a piece of jewelry in there because I don't see anything else to pick up. This game is fairly generous in giving you shiny things moving around, so you can know. Don't see anything else out here to shoot. It's got a nice churchyard. Alright. Let's see if we can put something down in there. Okay, so we can put the green cat's eye in there. Okay. It was a nice thing. It was a pretty thing. Oh, look, we've already dealt with people down here. Now we've got to do it all over again. So we're gonna start off. Oh, we're gonna combine these. Oh goodness. gonna be tight. Alright, what all resources we got over here? Junk. Junk. Who had a e-stop pit? Not sure. Maybe my brain's not working. Alrighty. Alrighty, we're gonna use one of these. The door won't open. Yes, of course, we must use insignia. Which has the Trinity made into it, but it's also kind of like blasphemous. It's got their cult on top of the Trinity. Again, some worldview there for you. What is more important? Our cult is. We like to use things that are holy and good and beautiful and corrupted. Okay, you want to come over here and play that game? Get over here. We'll play the up close and personal game. Go ahead, Mr. Suspenders Man. Which, by the way, actually, y'all see me online dressed down, which is good. Normally I've got on, you know, the whole clergy attire every day. But I have found that suspenders work really well with dress clothes. And if you conceal carry, you can make some stuff that works well for that too. That works out great. Works out great. I may be talking too quiet to even be heard in this. I don't know. Had to get up and get everything going again. Ooh. Oh, had an e-stop hit. That was at your work. Okay. Oh man, that ain't good. Yes. There are real consequences to that. Picking out them Acadias down there at GM. Can we jump over? Oh no, we jumped down. If John Williams did the music for this too, that would be great. John Williams needs to remake the music to Resident Evil and The Adventures of Lolo on the NES. I wish I could just rip a black clip. Yeah, don't we all wish we could just rip a black clip? The athletic moves they show you in video games as being easy, that obviously aren't that easy in real life. Alrighty. Do we need to do this code here? Alrighty. Let's do a little bit of puzzle matching. That looks right. Alrighty. Let's do that. That doesn't look right. Does that look right? That looks right. No, it doesn't. That looks right. Mostly. Not totally convinced on that top triangle portion. Oh, yes, the disco lights. Yes. Alrighty. Oh, fun. And this is where one's inability to tell colors could get really bad. Let's combine them. Let's see what happens. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Don't you wish this was the locking mechanisms to get in your house? I mean, like, once you figure it out. Like, the novelty is super high, but the difficulties and the security of it's not very effective.
La campana. Es hora de rezar. Tenemos que irnos.
Their faces look a little bit different in this. Yeah, they like it. This is the groove. This is the beat jam. Oh, there goes Leon. He's confused. He's like, I don't know what's going on. I haven't taken a bath
Where's
in
everyone
2
going?
weeks.
Bingo?
I haven't used deodorant since before black blue jeans were invented. Separate ways. Is that it? Is that the extent of the DLC? Okay.
Here's what I know so far. Osmond Sadler's cult is known as Los Illuminados. They resurrected some sort of parasitic organism they call Las Plagas. That's all my organization knows for sure, though Sadler's cult activities seem worthy of investigation. The Salazar family, Castellans for generations, possessed the ability to control Las Plagas.
Very young, very old.
The organization's hypothesis is that a unique frequent sonic wave sensed only by the parasites is used to control them. The same principle used in dog whistles.
Oh, cool.
This was inferred through the analysis of a tissue sample we retrieved. The tissue contained an organ presumably used for sensing sound waves.
And somehow using all the same cutscenes from the main game.
Ceremonial rods, and I wonder if they emit these sounds. Of course, this is purely theoretical.
See, they went way deeper into the worldview on this time.
The organization needs samples of the parasite to confirm or disprove the theories.
You know, it's
That
interesting. The
is
people
the
that
main
always talk
objective
about
of my
dog
mission,
whistles are the ones who use them the most in life.
The only way to prove my loyalty to the organization. The opening moves in this chess game have been played. There's no turning back now.
Oh, yes. So cool stuff. All right, we've got all that. I don't need to read that. Yeah. Yeah, cool stuff going on here. I like it. Yeah. Yeah, that's basically the whole worldview of this. You got something injected in people. They get controlled by this elite group. Turns them into zombies. It's horrible. They're not honest about what they want. They're not here to bless the world. They're here to control you. They're here to control the people that get injected with this stuff right into their veins are usually some of the greatest victims of it. Even though they're the people advancing the belief system, they're the people advancing, you know, the spirit of the age, God of this age. Go to 2 Corinthians 4:4. These are the people who suffer the most from it. The people who buy into the garbage mentality of our current culture. To live your truth, you know. Collectivism, Marxism, all this stuff.
We have an irregularity. The researcher we planted and discovered by the Illuminados.
You must be talking about that Spaniard. So where's he now?
He's held captive in an abandoned house located northeast of the village.
And I'm going to
Until
say
he
this. I know
recovers
this
the
lady.
sample, we can't let
We're
him
going to give her a
die.
pass. We're not going to give a comment on her.
remind me.
But this dude here, he thinks he's cool.
Luis Serra.
Dude needs a wedgie.
And I thought I was high
He,
maintenance.
and I say this with all Christ-like love, but he needs a butt whooping. He needs to be reminded of his place in the world. It would be very good for him. Yeah, and he's caught up. Sometimes there's a way that seems right to a man, but it leads to the way of death. He needs a butt whipping. The chicken egg. Another cool game I've got. It's not a triple title. It's AAA title. It's not like the best thing ever. The Call of Cthulhu. I've got that on the Switch. I don't even remember who published it. And I knew going into it, it's not going to be like a super awesome, you know, fun game to play because it's mostly telling a story and it's loosely adaptation, the H.P. Lovecraft novel. Or it's a loose adaptation of that. But it's a pretty cool game. That room back there looks like the opening scene in it. I bet somebody has a typewriter in the little hut out here. Because that's what you do. Well, there's no save game anywhere near this. And in fact, we gotta go way back the other direction. We just ripped off going the wrong way. Oh yes, we gotta turn that around. Turn it around. So if anyone out there likes cars, I like cars. Cars are fun. Back to the conversation earlier about watching or going and driving the Mustang versus the Mini. You know, BMW, who owns Mini, has done a really good job with their interiors and maximizing space, at least in their older cars. Look, the preacher man don't make a lot of money. When I'm buying like a BMW, I ain't buying a nice one. I'm buying one that's got, you know, 200,000 miles. But I like that they're rear-wheel drive. The Minis are like the only thing I'll give a little bit of a pass on, being front-wheel drive. Which they don't deserve a pass for it, because the Minis, the classic British Mini is like the grandfather of successful transversal front-wheel drive. So they all need to be launched into the sun. Oh no, this is bad. Oh no! Chop's head clean off. Which, by the way, speaking of cars, this is what you just saw is a metaphor for two-piece rims. It's a metaphor for unreliable jack stands. It's a metaphor for when people want to weld stuff on their springs to like lower their car, or put stuff in between their springs to like raise their car up a little bit. That's the Chops handoff simulator and the Chops head off simulator. And why this game keeps trying to tell me to push A when you can very obviously push Y when you can press A. Like, look here, it says Y open. Y'all watching this controller. A. Because A is action. Duh. Like, don't talk to me like I have never played a video game before. And you need some crazy configuration like Y is your action button. Like, what sort of pompous jerks ported this to the Nintendo Switch and were like, let's tell them Y is the action button. We haven't taken a bath in so long, we think this is cool. But y'all are crazy. Crazy. Which we're gonna have to go this way and try to find some ammo or something. Oh gosh! I didn't even... Dude, he's quick. He's then rolled up in here on us. Dang. You know, I just die a lot in the early playings of this stuff. Stuff you don't think is fast sometimes ends up being fast. Alright, we got it. Let us go. And I like how dude's got paintings of himself all over the place. Let's see what we can buy from this guy.
What are you buying?
We can buy a larger attaché case. Is it attach or attaché? Somebody tell me.
What are you
Can we buy the TMP?
Is that all?
We can. Oh, and how courteous of him. It comes loaded up for us.
Come back anytime.
The man, you know, his selection is limited, but he runs a clean shop, and he'll package you up and set you off to go. He is here to meet your needs to the best that he can, being a man running a business out of a trench coat. He's here for you. You may not expect him. You know, he probably stinks too. He probably has not considered personal hygiene ever in his life. And I believe it's John Wesley's mother who says cleanliness is close to godliness. People think that's scripture. It's not actually scripture. I think it's John Wesley's mother who said that. And John Wesley and Charles Wesley, as they became very popular within the Anglican Church, and then ultimately Methodism, and then all the Wesleyan churches. Having hygiene is important. But for something about Resident Evil and watching like an Underworld movie makes me think of people that have bad hygiene. Don't know why. Even this lady, even though she looks pretty attractive, and she's a video game character, so I mean, she's not real at all. But on top of that, she may look attractive, but she probably hasn't ever put on deodorant either. If she were a real person. Stinking. This is actually how, yes, this is how guns should be sold. The whole myth that it's easier to buy like a gun than medicine, or whatever it is. Like it's, people are always like, oh, it's easier to get your hands on like a gun than a school to get his hand, than like a teenager to get a notebook to take to school. Like, that is not true. Guy used to be training in ministry. When he turned 21, I wanted to buy him his first firearm, but I wanted him to really experience it. So I gave him the money and let him go and see that, look, you got to go in there, you got to fill in all this paperwork. You know, you got to commit some time to this. You got to have a clean record. It's just not that easy. You can't just get online and go to onefreegun.com and have it shipped to your house. And also look at her run around with this. Wouldn't it be nice if you just got to roll around with like a check, like CZ VZ61 Scorpion, just a little holster on there, just fashion up your day. Like they want you to think that her in this dress is hot. If she had a little original Scorpion down there, that would be what really sets off the hotness. I see that if we had tougher gun laws, then the police wouldn't be so violent. Yes, yes. You can basically sell me any dumb proposition now, and you know, I'll be like, yes, that is our culture. The Rona is more deadly before 8 p.m. in Walmart, or after 8 p.m. in Walmart. And medicine is less effective after 6 p.m. Hence why the pharmacy in Walmart is to close early. I'm not meaning to get this cow, I'm just wanting to get this guy. Alright, let me look at my map here. Because we do need to keep just going this way. And we're gonna forget fooling with these dudes. If he's got a hat, he thinks he's stylish. We just got 1,700 pieces of gold. Our life is good. And I do thank you all for joining me. It looks like we've got a few viewers out there. If anybody has any thoughts, questions, comments, like if you'd like to call in and talk to me, I've got this stuff set up where people can call in on Facebook. I need to have that thrown out there at the beginning. Oh man, it's time. Why you don't want to be into an NPC. Because then you get smoked by Ada in a dress. She's got a haircut now, which would be looped in with like the Karen haircut now. Oh, yeah. Oh, man, there's something on top of this roof here I didn't see. Now, how do we get there? I have the sneaking suspicion that we go up this ladder. Oh, man, these boxes are back. They're empty, though. Well, that's not fun. But for those of you who like cars, I like cars. We can talk about cars. We can talk about the Nicolaitans. I was in the shop today, and like there was this pile of books on like Jesus and the Nicolaitans, and I was like, this is a. I didn't know that there were a lot of people interested in talking Nicolaitans from like the Book of Revelation, and you kind of get some reference to it in the Epistles of John a little bit. Which, I mean, the Book of Revelation is part of the Johannine literature, but, you know, you see something like that, and you're like, I didn't know there was a lot of people interested in this, but I'm happy that there are people interested in this. Like, we can talk this all day long. What does the word meek actually mean? These are the conversations that I have shown up for. Alrighty. Oh, so she's too good for this. She's not too good to stab a zombie to death, but she's too good to pull something out of it. Alright, so as we get done with that, we're going to eat an egg. Y'all ready to see Ada pull a Rocky for you? Look at that. The egg eater. Alrighty. Well, y'all, it is getting late. It's 11:30, and I've got to get up. I'll be going live with our main podcast, Kingdom of the Logos, where we talk pop culture, we talk theology. We have a lot of fun with stuff. I'll be doing that in the morning, which, of course, I'm at home now. We do that in the church's big studio where we've got a lot of nice stuff. That'll be going on tomorrow, earlier in the day. So I've got to get up really early to write the show notes for all that. But nonetheless, I thank you all for being here. I hope you enjoyed our conversation. And again, always free to reach out and love to chat with people. So as we wrap this up, I hope that you've had a wonderful day. Always remember to look for things that are noble, the things that are true, the things that are just, the things that are pure, the things that are beautiful and lovely, all that is virtuous and worthy of praise. And of course, you can find that list in Philippians 4:8. With that, God love you and have a blessed day.